Yo, RX back with another breakdown of UFC Vegas 106 Burns versus Morales. We back with another breakdown of a card, of an Apex card. That is it's not very good. I can give you some red flags. It's in the Apex. Paul Craig is a co-main event, and it's in the Apex. I think that's enough red flags. Yeah, this is really bad. The main event's great. Main event's really damn good, and there's one or two decent fights under it, but outside of that, this is gonna be a rough one. Not looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to the main event. I think that's gonna be good. I'm looking forward to a fight or two on the card. But overall, if you ask me if I'm looking forward to the card overall, no. Do I think it's gonna be good? No. So, just being honest, I'm not super ecstatic for this. Not super ecstatic to break it down. But I've broken down worse, and I've been doing it for years now, so got it good, get it done, and move on. So whatever, another week, another card. I'm not even getting into an Apex rant right now. How you can have those three amazing cards outside of the Apex in Canada, Iowa, and Kansas City back to back to back, and then go to the Apex after all that, I will never know. But the UFC is a shit company, and I expect that, so whatever. Roll for the punches, and hopefully we see some punches thrown on this card. Where you never know, though, so whatever. Just throw your hands up, say fuck it, and let's get into it. So am I really forgetting to say anything? Not a lot to say. It's UFC Vegas 106. It's an Apex card. It's gonna suck. Main event's really damn good. Outside of that, what is there to talk about? So whatever. 12 fights in the Apex. Does anyone care? No. Is anyone excited? Hell no. But let's get the breakdown done over with so we can move on from this card. So, enough rambling. Let's get into it. Before I do, unless I'm going to say something, which I don't believe I am, the final thing I'll say before we get into the breakdown is always, of course, please like, comment, and subscribe. 100 subs goal by the end of 2025. Yeah, I don't blame you if you don't watch or subscribe after this video. It's an Apex card, I get it, so maybe down the line would be kind of cool. But whatever, I don't care. I do it for y'all entertainment, and I hope you enjoy. So, because I know no one's gonna enjoy this card, and I'm gonna enjoy breaking it down even less. So let's just get it over with and done with. Let's get into it. UFC Vegas 106 Burns Morales. Back to the Apex. Back to an empty shithole. You ready? I know I'm not. 3, 2, 1. UFC Vegas 106 breakdown. Begin. That was super corny. I'll never do that again. As we begin our card with our first of 12 fights, and this one coming in the women's strawweight division, as we begin tonight with a top 15 fight. I think we got number 14 versus number 15. I know barely top 15, but still top 15 nonetheless. As we're in our card opener, back to the Apex. What a way to open a card. It's not the worst, actually. Probably one of the better prelims. As we have in our opening fight of the night, Luana Pinheiro versus Tecia, the Tiny Tornado Pennington. Yeah, again, opening the night with a top 15 fight. It could be worse. UFC really likes starting cards with female fights lately. I swear, the last 3 of the last 4. I don't know if you can hear that, but it's storming bad. They really don't want me to break down an Apex card. I don't blame you. I swear, the last 3 of 4 cards have began with a female fight. I forget what opened last week, Bexac, so I think last week was the only card not to open with a female fight, so I guess this card keeping that tradition as we begin with Pinheiro and Pennington, 2 top 15 fighters, even though again they are 14th and 15th, still ranked nonetheless. So let's talk about it as we begin with our first fighter of the night. The model, because she's not a fighter, Luana Pinheiro. Luana in the UFC is 3-3 coming off the Contender Series all the way back, where she actually looked really damn good on Contender Series. I remember watching that live, got a nice finish, looked good. Then her UFC career started. It began with that acting performance against Randa Marcos after eating an up kick, so she got a win there somehow. Then she looked pretty terrible against Sam Hughes, but got the win, and then she looked pretty terrible against Michelle Waterson, but got the win in a fight no one thinks she won. And then we turn to the next chapter, second chapter for her career, where people finally figured out she's not good, and she's been taking L's ever since. She lost to Amanda Hebos 2 years ago, Angela Hill submitted her, which, how the fuck do you make that happen? And Julian Robertson beat her with ease back in November. Yeah, she's just not good. Like, I think maybe I was one of the first to see the cracks in Luana's armor. Maybe I wasn't, I don't remember, but I swear I was one of the first to, like, I know I was big on picking Hebos, and I saw a lot of people picking Pinheiro at the time. I don't know why. She's not good. She has no cardio. She has no ground game. Her heart is not in the fight. We saw that after Randa Marcos fight. She's not good. Like, what fight can you point to in the UFC? Win or lose, you can look good in a loss. What one can you point to and say she's looked good in? She acted against Marcos. She looked bad against Hughes. She looked pretty bad against Waterson. Hebos beat her ass. Angie beat her ass. Julian Robertson beat her ass. The best performance would probably be Sam Hughes, and that was barely a decent performance against Sam fucking Hughes, who's garbage. So, I don't know, like, I'm not shocked she's with fucking Nicolau, because they both suck equally. She's probably gonna be joining him on her fucking chopping block after this. She probably should have already been cut after 3 L's. 31 years old. Again, I said it at the beginning, she's a model, not a fighter. That's the only reason they kept her for this long. She's a model. Literally point blank period, they're proving my point. She's not good. She has no heart. She has no ground game. She has no cardio. Her striking is not even that good. She's got beat by like strikers like Angie and Hebos. She's just not good. It's that simple, and they're not giving her a tomato can, so she's probably gonna add another L to her fucking resume because she's just not good. Even after a little bit of a layoff, I don't think she's gotten better, because she hasn't got better yet. Why start now? It's truly that simple. To talk about her opponent, Tecia Pennington, the veteran, the OG, whatever you want to call her, as she is 35 years old now, 10-7 in the UFC. This is her third fight back under the new name, because obviously before she was Tecia Torres, where she did get to the Ultimate Fighter. Well, she was on the Ultimate Fighter. She didn't get to the finale. She did go on a 3-fight winning streak after the Ultimate Fighter, and she had a very up and down career ever since. And since coming back in 2024, new name and new parent, she has went, in my opinion, 2-0. She beat Tabitha Ricci, and she easily beat Carla Esparza. So she's come back looking pretty damn good. Like I said, I think she got completely robbed against Ricci. I don't know how you give that fight to Ricci when she looked terrible. And she beat Esparza into retirement, so that was awesome to see. And back now since first time since October, and we'll see how she looks. She probably will look good again. She's not shown any signs of being washed going in there against, like, you can't really say she's beating old fighters because Ricci's way younger. So she probably should be on a 6-fight winning streak, because most people think she beat Mackenzie Dern. So She probably should be on a 6-fight winning streak right now, but UFC wants to fuck her over, so whatever. Yeah, not really a lot to say about Tecia. She's very well rounded. Her striking's decent. Her grappling is pretty decent. She looked good lately against Ricci and Esparza. Cardio's good. She's a good veteran. What fucking key do they say with veterans? Crafty veteran, whatever the fuck that even means. Yeah, she's good. She's still got a lot of talent, and at 35 years old, since coming back, should be 2-0. She might make it 3-0. Not really a lot to say. It's Tecia Pennington. She's perfectly fine as a fighter. Can't really think of much bad to say. So, that's about that. The Bangouts first fight have Tecia Pennington minus 400 to plus 310. Yeah, I completely agree. Pennington should win this fight easily. I think this is her easiest fight since coming back, because Pinheiro is not a grappler. She's going to strike, and she's not even good at it. So this should be a pretty easy win for Tecia. She's just better. She has more heart. She's not going to quit like Pinheiro. Pinheiro's not much taller, which is rare for a Tecia Pennington fight. Tecia should win this. She has more heart, more cardio, better ground game. She should win this fight pretty easily. She's definitely one of the lock of the night options. She's not the lock of the night, but she definitely was in consideration. And she should win this fight. Like I said, she's just better. It's truly that simple. So, my pick here, of course, is going to be Tecia Pennington by decision. Yeah, I don't see her really losing this fight. I see this going like all of Pinheiro's other fights lately. She's just outclassed because she's not good. She's just truly not good. She's a model, not a fighter, and eventually you gotta stop modeling Venom shorts and get in the cage, and she sucks at that. So, give me Tecia Pennington by decision, and what should be an easy win for her. One of the easiest fights she's had in a long fuck since Bryce Ham Hughes 4 years ago. So, quick, easy win for Tecia Pennington. That's about that, man. Yeah. Pinheiro will probably be on chopping block sooner than we think, so yeah, pretty easy fight to begin the night. Can't say much else, so simple. After that, we go to our second fight of the night, moving up 10 pounds to the male flyweight division. As we have, in my opinion, maybe the worst fight on the card. I'm not really looking forward to this. And if I made the card order, this would probably be the card opener, because I don't think this is that great of a fight, but you never know, it might be decent. As in our second fight of the night, our first male fight of the night, in the flyweight division, we have Peace of Mind Hung Sung Park versus Carlos Hernandez. Yeah, like I said, probably, in my opinion, the worst fight on the card. I'm not really jumping for joy at this fight. I don't think it's that great. I don't think much of either of these guys, but maybe they'll change my mind here. We'll see. About really the nicest thing I can say about the fight, so let's get into it. As we begin with the undefeated, I think one of the only two undefeated fighters, three undefeated fighters on the card, I believe. Hung Sung Park in UFC is 2-0, really 1-0, because I don't know that they count road to UFC, but who gives a shit. In his two UFC fights, he obviously won the the road to UFC back in 2023, with an okay performance from what I remember. Wasn't spectacular, but he looked alright. Then he finished off 2023 beating up Shannon Ross like anyone with two fucking hands can do. But then we have not seen him since. He took off 2024 completely. He tried to get a fight and didn't work. And then he was meant to fight earlier in the year 2025, but that didn't happen. So now we see him back finally from December 9th to May 17th. Which that's not a bad layoff for young fighters. At 29 years old, 9-0, it could be worse. So, whatever. In his first two UFC fights, I'd be lying if I said I remembered them fully, but B, from what I do remember, I don't remember him looking amazing against Guk Choi. That was a fight. I believe that's one, like, the more forgettable road to UFC finales, especially of that card, because I think there was like 3 or 4 on that card. And then for the Shannon Ross fight, that's as unimpressive as you can get. You beat up Shannon Ross. Who the fuck hasn't? So, and it took you to round 2. So that's, you took the longest to beat up Shannon Ross out of his 3 UFC L's. Come on, man, you gotta do better. But, you know, he's back after 2 years, so maybe he will do better. You really never know if these road to UFC guys, most of them suck. About 95, if not more, suck outside of the Zhang Mingyang. Which ones have been good? Not many, so knock on wood, hopefully that changes soon. But until we see otherwise, I don't think much of Choi. I'm not saying Choi is a bad fighter, but until he proves something, I think he's either going to be a bad fighter or a mid one. So he hasn't fought anyone good yet to really prove if he's good or not, and that really doesn't change here, but you never know. Maybe we have a prospect on our hands and we don't know it. Only one way to find out. So about really all I can say about a guy who's beat 2 nobodies 2 years ago. To talk about his opponent, Carlos Hernandez. Carlos in the UFC is 3-3 at 33 years old, 31 years old. Really, he should be 2-4 if we're being completely honest. His coming off Contender Series, his 2 UFC wins have been Victor Altamirano and Denise Pondar. His losses have been Alan Nascimento, Tatsuro Taira, Ray Saruya, and Termin de Burrell. Because that was one of the worst robberies of last year. I don't know how they gave Hernandez that fight against NT. So, yeah. That's a crazy 4 losses, though. Nascimento, who's good. Tatsuro Taira, who's good. Ray Saruya, who's, I don't think, terrible, just not exciting. And Termin Demburo, who, yeah, I don't think he's very good, but he clearly won that fight, so take that as you will. And then if you look at his 2 wins, Altamirano, who is not very good, and Dennis Bondar, who's fucking terrible, and that was a knockout. Carlos Hernandez is just one of those guys who floats around the division. You never really think of him until you see him on the fight card. He's not very good, but he's okay enough to not get beat by tomato cans. He'll put up a fight every time. He's not a pushover, but he's not good, like I said, so I don't have much to say, let alone good to say, about Carlos Hernandez. He's a fighter. Is he the worst flyweight? No. Is he far from it? Not really. He's a flyweight. Like, you're never going to think of him outside of... You won't think after this card ends, you won't think of Carlos Hernandez again till his next fight's booked. And it's that fight week. Trust me, he's that type of fighter. So, that's really about all I can really say. His ground game's his ground game's not great. His striking's he's not great. He's just not really great anywhere. He's just a fighter, pretty much. So that's that simple. The betting on first I have Hong Sung Park minus 192 plus 155. I'm shocked they don't have him a bigger favorite. I probably have Park 200. Why not? Undefeated. 2-year layoff. Hernandez is not good. Hernandez always loses to prospects, so take that as you will. I'll go Hong Sung Park by decision. I doubt he's gonna finish Hernandez, because Hernandez has only ever been finished by submission in the UFC, so I don't know. He did get KO'd by Tatsuro, so maybe Park will KO him. Maybe, who knows. Again, he took 2 rounds against Shannon Ross. Jesus. But yeah, I don't really got a lot to say about this fight. I don't think much of either guy. Park has been an underwhelming prospect, and Hernandez has never really been more than a fighter. So that's why I really just don't got a lot to say about this one. I think most people would get it. And I think you all are going to get my pick even more, because my pick is obviously going to be Hong Sung Park. I don't see him losing this fight. I don't see him getting fraud checked by fucking Carlos Hernandez. That would be pretty fucking embarrassing. He should win this fight. he should be the better fighter, and he should keep his undefeated record. If you lose your O to Carlos Hernandez, Jesus Christ. Give me Park by decision. Maybe he could finish Hernandez. It's unlikely. Hernandez is pretty tough. Again, the only guys to finish him are Al Nascimento and Tatsuro Taira. So, those are some pretty damn good names to get finished by. So, that could be really bad out of context. But, yeah, give me Hong Sung Park by decision. Maybe he lands that KO shot like Tatsuro did, but you never know. So, give me Park by decision in what on paper is an underwhelming fight, and what an execution probably will be the same. So, but I'm gonna say, and still undefeated, Hong Sung Park by decision. After that, we go to our third fight of the night, going back down to strawweight for the last time tonight, as we have a fight that should be pretty quick and easy to break down. I don't think anyone's really expecting much from this fight outside what we all know is going to happen, so let's talk about it real quick. As in our third fight of the night, going back down to the strawweight division for a fight that's, I'd say, right outside of the top 15, at least for one of these fighters. Not sure how a ranked fight's under an unranked fight in the same division, but, you know, UFC will never make any fucking sense. So, whatever. As in our third fight of the night, back in the women's strawweight division, we have Denise D. Gomes versus Elise Reed. I think we all already know the pick here. I don't think it's very much of a secret, but I will still talk about the fight a little bit real quick. So let's do just that. And we'll begin with the much better fighter and the winner of this fight. Let's just be blunt about it. Denise Gomes. Denise in the UFC is 4-2. Coming out to Contender Series, where I had a lot of hype for her. I remember she looked very good on Contender Series, and I was excited for her debut until she said yes to Luma Luke Boomy on short notice. That went as well as you think it did. But after that, she went on a 2-fight murder streak, knocking out Bruna Brazil and Yasmin Hawagui, two very hyped up prospects at the time. So fraud checking them, great 2023 for her, until it ended with a loss to Angela Hill. But if you're a prospect and you don't have a loss to Angela Hill on your record, I don't think you're doing it right. After that, she came back with 2 more wins, beating Eduarda Mora up to flyweight and Karolina Kowalkiewicz. Denise is good. She's very good. Like, her only losses are 2 ranked fighters, an OG and a fucking, now a newly ranked top 15 Luma Luke Boomy. I think. I don't know if they took her back out of the rankings for Luana Pinheiro. I don't know, but whatever. Denise is decent. She's 25 years old. She's still super young, and she's pretty decent. Her takedowns are getting better. Her striking's good. She has good power. She's good. Again, your only losses are Angie and Luma Luke Boomy. Your wins are Bruna, Yasmin, and Eduarda. She's good. She's kind of been floating around that 15 through 20 range in the division for a while now. And, yeah, maybe she'll break the glass ceiling and get back in the rankings. I swear she was ranked at one point, though. Maybe she'll get there again and join her girlfriend, Carol Hosa, who's been in her own top 15 for a long time. I see if Denise can join her. So, 4 wins in UFC now. Can she go on her first 3-fight winning streak in the UFC? Yes. So, against her easiest opponent, I think we know the answer already. And to speak of that easy opponent, Elise fucking Reed. Oh joy. Elise 4-4 in the UFC at 32 years old. Her wins have been Corey McKenna, Melissa Martinez, Jin Yu Fry, and Jessica Panay. Her losses, Sajara Eubanks, Sam Hughes, Luma Luke Boomy, and Lupe Godinez. She's fucking terrible. I don't think I need to tell you that. Her wins, garbage. Still not sold on her. Garbage. Her losses, garbage. Cool. Okay. So, she's terrible. It's that simple. She's beat cans. She's got beat by a few cans. She's fucking terrible. It's just to be blunt about it. I don't know what you want me to say. It's Elise fucking Reed. She's legit garbage. She hasn't went on a consecutive winning or losing streak yet in the UFC, so I'll give her that. She keeps finding a way to win after a loss and lose after a win. But when that's your best fucking skill, that says a lot. The bag on Thursday, I have Denise Gomes minus 500. I think even a bigger favorite now. 2 plus 380. Yeah, you can have Denise minus 6, 7, 8 even. She should win this fight. No, she is not the lock of the night. I know, a little shocking. But I think there's someone I trust even more against an even easier opponent. But yeah, Denise should win this easily. She will be the better fighter for 15 minutes. On the feet, on the ground. Power, striking, grappling, cardio, everything. She'll be better. She's much younger, much more talented in every aspect of MMA. And yeah, this is going to be probably a 30-27 Denise Gomes across the board. If anything else happens, it would be a giant fucking disappointment. So don't fucking do that. Get a quick, easy win and go from there. So 30-27 Denise Gomes. Maybe a finish is possible. Elise has been finished in all of her UFC fights, but most of those have been TKOs and submissions. Something Denise is not a pro at. She's more of a striker, so we'll see if she wants to try and get to the ground and do that. If not, either way, she's going to walk away for W, and that's my prediction. 30-27 Denise Gomes to get a layup win here against Elise Reed. I know you're shocked. Next. After that, we move up from the smallest to the heaviest female weight class for our final female fight of the night also, which that's kind of interesting, and what an interesting female fight it is. A complete coin flip in my opinion, as we have in our fourth fight of the night. Yep, our fourth fight of the night, up all the way in the women's bantamweight division. A weird one, but again, kind of interesting. As we have our final female fight of the night, Luana Santos versus Tainara, that Thai Panther Lisboa. Weird, interesting Brazilian battle up at 135. Lisboa back after a long layoff. Luana moving up to 135. This should be an interesting one. I think this is one of the more difficult ones to pick on the card. So let's look into it and try to make a pick, shall we? We'll begin with Luana Santos, again moving back up to 135. I think she did fight here in the past, yes, against Stephanie Egger, where she is now in UFC 3-1 after her last fight in August, taking her first L. Before then, she beat Juliana Miller, Stephanie Egger, and Maria Agapova, and took an L to Casey O'Neill. Luana has looked okay in UFC so far. Juliana Miller, that win has aged a little better after her last few weeks. Stephanie Egger, Maria Agapova, that's pretty terrible. And then an L to Casey, that's fine. She's a ranked fighter. What can you do? I think that's short notice, no less. So it happens. She is 25 years old, 8-2. Still very young. From her first 4 UFC fights, she seems to be pretty decently well-rounded. Her striking is alright. Her grappling offensively seems decent, submission-wise. Defensively, again, like the Casey fight, not so much. Now again, going back up to 135, which is interesting. I guess that 125 cut was not very good to her. She is 5'6", so I guess that makes sense. Whatever weight class is the best, I guess you go to it. Yeah, not very sure what else to say. Not good to have Luana back after a long layoff in between fights, and let's see how she looks here in her return. So, after a few stints out of the Apex, so let's see how she looks back in it. And up a weight class. Pretty simple. Speaking of how do they look after a long layoff, Tiana Lisboa Lisboa in the UFC is 2-0. Both fighters never won on Contender Series or nothing. They just got signed straight up, so that's interesting. Lisboa's 2 wins in UFC have been Jessica Rose Clark and Ravenna Oliveira. Yeah, weak competition's an understatement. Jessica Rose Clark, garbage. Ravenna Oliveira, who? Fucking who? She is 34 years old, which is not the greatest sign in the world, and she has been off for 2 years almost. So again, not a great sign, especially at that age. Yeah, her debut was against Norma Dumont, and she fought Valentina. Jesus. Kind of the same thing as Luana. She seems very well rounded. Her ground game looks decent. Her striking looks decent. We'll see how she looks after a long break. About the same thing I said with Luana. The only thing different, we've not seen Lisboa against higher level competition. So that's outside of that. Not much really difference between these two. So I really like this matchmaking. To be honest, I think it's really intriguing and. Yeah, about really all I could say about either one of them. The betting odds for I have Luana Santos minus 130 to plus 110. That's not true. I think Luana's even higher of a favorite now. I swear she's up to like minus 180, which I don't get. I would have this to pick 'em. I get why a lot of people are picking Luana. She's more tested. She's much younger. But I don't know. Like, I think this is a pick 'em. I think if you compare them on the feet, I think Luana's a harder hitter, but I think Lisboa might be a better striker, and on the ground I think they're about the same from what I've seen, so we'll see. This should be interesting. What's the height? All that 1 inch, so they're almost the same fucking fighter, to be honest, just one's a little bit older and one's actually been tested against a little bit decent of competition, so take that as you will. Who am I going with in this fight? It's hard not to go with Boa, I think. Maybe. I think she's a little more dedicated to the game. She's a natural 135er, unlike Luana, who just doesn't feel like making a weight cut. And I don't know, I might lean Lisboa. So it's a 50-50 fight. Either way, if you even consider betting this fight, you're a psychopath. Even making a pick for it's kind of fucking insane. But I'm leaning Lisboa, to be honest. I think she can take this. I think she's a little more well-rounded. I think, again, the only red flag of her is she's old, and she's not really fought anyone good outside of those two things. I'm not seeing really a problem yet in her game, unless I'm forgetting something, which I don't think I am with her. Give me Tainara Lisboa, or Tainara, my bad. Lisboa, I think. So maybe I'll switch my pick by fight time, or before fight time, I should say. Maybe, but more than likely, I'm kind of leaning Lisboa. I kind of have been all week since we were looking at this fight. So give me Lisboa by decision. If I'm wrong, I can't really be too upset about it. It's a complete coin flip fight. Again, the only reason I think people are really leaning Luana is because she's fought higher level competition. Outside of that, how do you really pick this fight outside just saying, fuck it, I'll go blank? So, give me Lisboa by decision. Should be an interesting one. I could see a split decision coming a mile of fucking way. Well, it should be interesting nonetheless. I'm intrigued. I think this matchmaking's really weird but good. And I'm intrigued in this one. So, give me Tainara Lisboa, though. Give me my first underdog pick of the night. And, yeah, I think I'm going to lean that way. Lisboa by decision in what should be very, very interesting. Again, complete coin flip. Either way, I don't think you can go wrong for picks there. Just wait and see. Give me Lisboa by decision. After that, we go to our 5th fight of the night. Speaking of easy fights to predict, now we got, in my opinion, the easiest, as in our 5th fight of the night, going all the way up to the featherweight division. They were slowly building our way up to heavier weight classes on this card, which is kind of funny. As in our 5th fight of the night, all the way up at the featherweight division, we have a very beyond predictable fight between the controller, Connor Mathews, versus Yadier, the Cuban problem, DelValle. Yeah, I don't think I need to really say much for this fight. I think it's going to be a pretty one note. The only thing I will say, first thing I will say, I believe this is the short notice fight. If I'm correct, maybe I'm not. I swear this was a short notice fight for somebody. Maybe I'm wrong. Never mind. Let's talk about Connor Mathews, the more known UFC fighter in this one. Connor in the UFC is 0-2, coming out to Contender Series, where he did have to go on the show twice. After losing to Francis Marshall, he came back, beat up Tomato Can, and got a contract. I would be lying if I said I remember how that fight went at all. So maybe he looked good, maybe he didn't. Doesn't matter, because since getting to the UFC, he's looked fucking terrible. Dennis Pazukia beat his ass. Jose Delgado wiped the floor of him a few months ago, and now he's back taking a short-nosed fight against an undefeated guy who is probably going to do the same. Good job. Yeah, I can't say anything good about Connor Mathews because I've not seen anything good from Connor Mathews. He has no striking, no blocking, no ground game, no chin, no cardio. He's a walking punching bag. What positive can you pull from his UFC career so far? He's been knocked out twice. He hasn't really looked good in either fight. He's a walking punching bag because he doesn't fucking block anything. He's pretty terrible, and respect for him for taking this fight because it makes no fucking sense for him. But good luck. You're gonna fucking need it. This is probably the last time we're gonna see Connor Mathews in the UFC. I would not be very shocked about that. So, good luck, man. You fucking need it. As we talk about his opponent, Yadier DelValle. Yadier is making the UFC debut, the first of 2 fighters on this card who are, after coming out to Contender Series, where he looked pretty damn good against Antonio Monteiro. I know he didn't get a finish, but that Monteiro dude was tougher than nails, and he got hit with everything Yadier had and wouldn't budge. But Yadier still looked good, and now he's in the UFC. So, yeah, one of the few Cubans in the UFC. I may be the only one on the roster at the moment, unless I'm forgetting someone. So, let's see how he does. One of the only few DWCS guys from last season to not debut. I think there's only like 7 or 8 more left after him. So we'll see how they do in the future, but we'll see how he does in the now. Again, 8-0, which, if you want to say, oh, undefeated, that's a curse. In 2025, it might be, but only one way to find out. 28 years old, 8-0, getting a layup debut. Let's see how Yadier looks. Can't really say much else since I've only seen him fight one time. The big answer is fight. I completely agree with. If not, I think they're a little small. Having Yadier DelValle minus 420, nice 2 plus 320. Yeah, I would have Yadier like minus 900. I don't see how he loses this fight. He's better. In fact, he's my lock of the night. I truly don't see how he loses this fight. He's better on the feet. He's better on the ground. He has better cardio, power, blocking, yada, yada, yada. Connor Mathews is going to get knocked out in round 1. Let's just be blunt about it. The dude's going to get sparked out in round 1. Like, I saw a few clips of Yadier's Contender Series fight on IG earlier, and let's just be honest, if Connor Mathews takes one of those shots, he's going to crumple like a piece of fucking paper. He has no chin, no durability, he's not good, and he has no blocking. He's going to get put out pretty fucking badly in this fight, just like he has in the last 2 fights, and it'll probably be the last time we ever see him fight, so don't be shocked. Lock of the night, Yadier DelValle, knockout in the first. I don't think I'm shocking anyone with that prediction or lock of the night. again, there's a few good options, but I think it's pretty easy to go Yadier DelValle by knockout in the first lock of the night. Morales, Denise, Gomes, Tecia, Pennington all could have made the cut for lock of the night, but I'm giving it to Yadier. He's getting the easiest opponent on the card, and he should win this with ease and impress in his debut. Yadier DelValle by knockout in first in what should be an utter debut layup, and I have my lock of the night, I should say. Jesus, 5 fights in. Hey, we're getting there. 40 minutes in, Jesus Christ. As we get to our co-main event of the prelims, a really good fight actually, one of the few decent ones on the card. It should be on the main card if we're being honest, but UFC. As we have a veteran battle in the lightweight division, a very good fight. As I said, I'm very excited for this one. I think it's a very, very solid fight. As we have in our co-main event of the evening on the prelims, Jared Flash Gordon versus Thiago Moisés. This should be good. This should be a very solid fight. I'm very intrigued in this fight. Again, probably should be on the main card, one of the better fights of the night. So let's look into it and get into it. As we begin with the more veteran of the two, 36-year-old Jared Gordon, who is 9-5-1 in the UFC. His wins have been Michael Quinones, Harkin Diaz, Dan Moret, Chris Fishgold, Danny Shira, Joe Selecki, Leonardo Santos, Patty Pimplett, and Mark Madsen. His losses have been Diego Fieta, Joaquin Silva, Charles Oliveira, Grant Dawson, and Nazareth Hack-Perez, and he had a no contest with Bobby Green. Gordon's a decent fighter. He's kind of shown that for the last couple years now, ever really since that Patty fight, where he looked great and won clearly. I get he's went 1-1-1 since that fight, but Bobby Green, who was still good at the time, Mark Madsen, that's not the greatest win, but knocked him out at least, and Nazareth Hack-Perez in a fight a lot of people think he won, and it was a banger. Can't really be too upset about any of that. He is finally getting to fight in 2025 after having some fights canceled back in February with Cowie and Nursulton's brother. So happy he got finally is looking to get a fight this year, and we'll see how he does. 36 years old, very good striker, decent ground game. His chin's a little suspect at times, but what can you do? He's pretty well-rounded, still a pretty decent fighter, even at 36 years old, and, yeah, not really a whole lot to say. Like, his, kind of talk about the UFC career in two parts. The first part where he was mid, barely, no one really knew who he was, and then the part after beating Patty, where he's been kind of mid again, but a better mid against better fighters, so not really much else to say about Flash Gordon. To talk about his opponent, the also very veteran Thiago Moisés, but 6 years younger at 30 years old, from the Fighting Nerds. 8-6 in the UFC. His wins have been coming off the Contender Series: Kurt Hollabaugh, Michael Johnson, Bobby Green, Alexander Hernandez, Christoph Giagos, Melquizael Costa, God had that aged well, Mitch Ramirez, and Trey Ogden. His losses have been Benio Dariush, Demetrius Magulov, Islam Makhachev, Joel Alvarez, Benoit Saint Denis, and Ludovic Klein. Moisés has kind of been a very average fighter in the UFC. He's kind of always been hanging around that top 25-30 area at lightweight. Like, if you give him someone who's a pretty good step down in competition, he's going to look good and beat him pretty easily. But ever every time you give him that step up, like fucking Islam, Joel, and Ludovic, he's going to lose. So, but he is good. He is a very good fighter, and he's shown that, especially over the last couple years, only losing to top 15 guys. Yet Prime, BSD, and Ludwig Klein, not bad L's. Even then, Joe Alvarez, Islam. So, and he has some good wins. Bobby Green, Michael Johnson. How good has this Melquizael win aged? Trey Ogden was a good win at the time earlier in the year as an underdog. Moisés is really solid. Kind of the same thing with Jared Gordon. He's a really solid fighter, very well-rounded. Striking's good. Grappling's good. Great leg kicks and body kicks. Dude's really solid. So, he's fought some of the best in the division, lost to them, but still fought them, and he's a really solid fighter. Can't really say much more than that. He's pretty solid. Kind of same thing again with Jared Gordon. They're solid fighters. The Bang Actors fight are not a pick'em, even though they should be. Last time I looked earlier, yesterday, at the point I'm recording this, Jared Gordon was a little bit of a favorite at like minus 120, 125, 130, which I don't really get. I would definitely have it a pick'em. I think Moisés and Gordon are pretty well matched. I think Moisés is a little better, so if I had to pick a favorite, I'd lean Moisés. 6 years younger and a little more in his repertoire. But Jared Gordon is no pushover, so the UFC found that out the hard way. So, ciao. Yeah, I don't really know what to say about this fight. It's very good. Two experienced, good lightweights who somehow never fought each other. I'm excited. This should be a very good fight. Who am I picking in this? And again, pretty much a pick'em. I would lean Thiago Moisés. I think he's a little more in his toolbox. He's much younger, a lot less damage on him. He's looked really good lately. I don't think Jared Gordon is to the level of Ludwig Klein and guys like that, but I think Moisés is better than guys like fucking Nasrat Haqparast. Maybe. I mean, that's debatable. So, give me the younger, in my opinion, a little bit better fighter. Give me Thiago Moisés by decision. Should be a good fight. Should be a tight fight. Should not really be a bad one or a layup. Should be competitive. Should be fun. But I think Moisés is going to be able to squeak out a win. Some good leg kicks should really slow Gordon down. And after that, we'll see how Moisés does. Thiago should win this, in my opinion. Even though I still think it's a pick'em, and I would not be shocked if Gordon won. I wouldn't count on it. So, if I had to pick a favorite here, and if I had to make a pick here, which of course I do, I'm going to go Thiago Moisés by decision. I think he's a little bit better. He's much younger, more durable. Give me Thiago Moisés by decision in what should be a very, very good veteran battle at 155. Give me the Brazilian Thiago Moisés by decision to get the W. After that, we go to our featured prelim, a very interesting fight here. I'm very intrigued to see how the fuck this goes, as in our featured prelim, staying in the lightweight division, we have a very interesting fight, our second and final debutant of the night, and he got to the UFC in a very interesting fashion. We'll talk about that in a second. As in our featured prelim, staying in the lightweight division, how is this above Moisés? I don't know, but whatever, maybe it'll be good. We have to end our prelims, Matheus Jaguar Camilo versus Gifted Gabe Green. A very weird featured prelim here. I get it to an extent, but still not really. Like, I'll get it more into the Camilo guys in 1 second, but I don't know. I'm not a fan of this being the featured prelim. It was on the main card at first, but then they made it a 5-5 main card and it's got kicked down to the prelim, so I'm happy about that at least. But I think there's a few more deserving fucking prelims than that you could have here or around here, so I get it, but I mean, I agree with it, so whatever. Hopefully it's a good fight. Only one way to find out. As we begin the breakdown for this fight with the debutant, the reason it's the featured prelim, Matheus or Matheus Camilo. Camilo is making UFC debut, of course, coming from the regional scene. Why is he getting signed, you say? Why is he so in it? Why is he getting such a good debut spot on a card? Because he beat this guy in his last fight, and if you remember who this guy is, he's that dude who asked Dana for a contract at the Holloway Taporia press conference a few months back. If he would have won that fight against Camilo, he would have got the contract, but since Camilo beat him and looked pretty good, they gave him a contract. I saw the highlights of that fight, and this Camilo dude looks alright. Striking looks alright. Ground game looks okay. He is 24 years old, very young, 9-2, on a 6-fight winning streak. Only 1 decision or 2 decisions in there. Yeah. We'll see how this dude does under the big lights. Maybe will he shine under the pressure, or will he crumble? Only one way to find out. He didn't crumble when he had all the eyes on him against the other guy. Let's see if he crumbles here in the UFC. I guess he's in the Apex, so there's only about 6 real people there to watch him. Let's see how he does. Not very much else to say. He looked pretty well-rounded in that fight. Let's see how he does in the big leagues. As we have to talk about his opponent, of course, for us to see how good he is. Gabe Green, 32 years old, back after a very long layoff and in a new weight class now. Gabe is 2-3 in the UFC. In his first 2 in the UFC, he did come in on short notice to fight Daniel Rodriguez and lost. Then he won 2 in a row against Phil Rowe and Johan Lainez, and then he hit a brick wall with Ian Gary and Brian Battle. Not a great last 2 fights, and even D-Rod on short notice is kind of fucked up. And now he's on a 2-fight skid. Took over 2 years off, and now he's down at lightweight. His first fight at lightweight in the UFC. I don't know if that's a good move for him. He is small. He is 5'10", so I guess it could be worse, but I don't know if it's really the best move for him. 32 years old in his first 5 UFC fights. I've not been overly impressed with him, to be honest. I don't know what you'd really be impressed with. Like, he's lost to good competition. He's beat forgettable competition. He's tough, kind of. He's kind of stupid. He's a fighter, not even a good one, so I don't really know what to say. Good to have him back after 2 years, because he just was taking up a roster spot, not fighting before, so at least he's back fighting. Outside of that, I don't know what to say. Intrigued to see him at lightweight, how he looks there, so who knows, maybe he can spoil this kid's debut. Only one way to find out, I guess. Not really much else to say about either guy, so about it. The bang answer, so I have Camilo minus 175 to plus 145. I don't know if I have him that big of a favorite. I'd probably have him minus 150. I think that's a perfect number. I'm gonna pick Camilo mainly because I think from going again, I've made this theory before. I'm picking between a guy I don't know, or I know very little of, against a guy I do know, and I'm gonna pick the guy I don't know more because I know the guy I do know sucks. So if that makes any fucking sense. Last time I did that, it didn't work, so maybe it'll work here. Give me the much younger and probably the much better fighter. Even if he's not all that, he's probably still better than Gabe Green. Give me Matheus Camilo by decision. I don't know if he's going to finish Gabe. Only one guy has in the UFC so far, and that was Brian Battle. I don't know if Camilo hits as hard as Brian Battle, and I don't know if Green is going to fight stupid enough to give him that shot. So we'll see. What I do know is I'm going to go with the debutante and the hyped up one at that, Matheus Camilo, by decision to spoil Gabe Green's return and for Camilo to win his debut and show why he deserves the hype he has got. Maybe. We'll see. Close fight. Again, I wouldn't be shocked if Camilo does lose. Anything's possible. Kid could fucking crumble under the pressure, you never know. But I'm going to say he doesn't. I'm going to go Matheus Camilo by decision to end a very okay prelims, question mark. So, there you go. Those are just the prelims, 55 minutes in. Fucking kill me. They are okay. Pennington's alright. Park, and Denise Gomes, Lisboa is interesting. The last four are good. I'm very intrigued in the last four, and I think really outside the Park fight, and maybe the Gomes fight to an extent, I think the rest are interesting and decent, so I'm intrigued. I would be lying if I said I wasn't. I'm very intrigued to see how these prelims go. I think there's some good fights on them, some interesting debuts, some interesting returns after long layoffs. Let's see what happens. Looks like a decent prelims on paper. Not the best, not even that great, but maybe it'll be fun. You never know. Only one finish in my predictions, which that's great, but that means fuck all, cause then that means like most of the fights will be finishes. But yeah, I'm intrigued in these prelims, and we'll see what happens. But then we have to move to the main card. 5 more fights there as well, so let's not waste any more time. 56 minutes in, 5 more fights to break down for this card. Let's do it. UFC Vegas 106 main card. You ready? I know I am, so let's do this then. As we begin the main card in the featherweight division with a fucking banger that should be the co-main event, in my opinion, the second best fight on the card. I cannot wait for this fight. It's so good. As we have to open our main card. What a great main card opener, even though again it should be higher on the card. We begin with Julian Juicy J Erosa versus Melquizael Costa. Again, if you know, what a fucking banger. Should be the co-main event. Again, this is the second best fight on the card. This is a certified fucking banger, and I cannot wait for it. This is such a good fight. Amazing main card opener, even if it should be higher on the card. W matchmaking. W fucking matchmaking. I can't wait for this, and let's get into it. As we begin the main card with our first main card fighter, Juicy J Julian Erosa, 35 years old, a veteran, 9-7 in the UFC. Not gonna go over his first UFC run, but since coming back in 2022 or 2020, my bad, he's went on a really nice run, only losing 3 fights. All of those wins have been Sean Woodson, Nate Landwehr, Charles Jourdain, Steven Peterson, Hakeem Dawodu, Ricardo Ramos, Christian Rodriguez, and Darren Elkins. His only losses have been all KOs in round 1, 2. Sung Woo Choi, Alex Caceres, and Fernando Padilla. Erosa's really damn good, man. If he can just keep his chin from getting cracked, he's really good. Like, as we've seen. Like, I know this 3-fight winning streak ain't spectacular. Ricardo Ramos ain't a world beater. Christian Rodriguez is garbage. And Darren Elkins is fucking ancient. But he also has some nice, like, again, Woodson, Landwehr, Jourdain, Peterson, Dawodu. Those are good wins. And Erosa's a good fighter. His striking is alright, but really his bread and butter is that ground game. Even though in that Elkins fight, he beat him on the feet pretty much. So he has good power, he has good grappling, good submissions, good ground and pound, decent cardio. His only real problem is his chin. That's kind of been his only weakness, is his fucking chin. if he can keep his chin from getting cracked, like I've said, he will do great in a fight and more than likely win it. In the UFC, he has 7 losses and 6 are by knockout. Every other fight he's won, because he's really damn good. So I don't know what you want me to say. 35 years old on a 3-fight winning streak, back already after just fighting in April. Juicy J, man, he's really damn good. Really hitting another stride at 35. If you can keep that chin from getting touched, he's good. And then, speaking of activity, his opponent, Melquizael Costa, 28 years old, 4-2 in the UFC. His 4 wins have been Austin Lingo, Shailan Nursulton, Andre Fili, and Christian Rodriguez. His 2 losses have been Thiago Moisés and Steve Garcia. What a great 2 L's. And then those wins, Lingo, not great, Nursulton, not great, Andre Fili is a great win, Christian Rodriguez is, again, garbage. Already on his 3rd fight this year. I think the only other guy to have that many is Kevin Holland, because I think Holland's going into his 3rd fight with Luque. So I don't know anyone else who's been that active so far this year. I think it's only him and Kevin Holland. And if I'm wrong, I wouldn't be shocked, but I want to say I'm right, because it feels like I'm right, because again, I don't know anyone who could be that active, and again, that's just fucking insane how active Milk has been. So, February, March, May. This dude's fucking insane, and he's looking amazing. In those last 3 fights, even at Lingo when he looked great, but especially in the last 3, finishing Shyland, subbing Andre Fili, easily beating Christian Rodriguez as an underdog. This dude's good. This dude's very damn good. He fights just like a shoot-to-box fighter. His striking's alright, but his grappling's great. He's 28 years old. He's really tough. He has good power. He has good grappling. He's looking like a future top 15 guy, and a win here, it'd be hard not to give him a fight around that top 15, or if not in it, so should be fucking interesting, man. I'm very intrigued. I'm super excited to see Milk back. He's becoming one of my favorite fighters. If he wins this and then fights again in fucking, June, July, that'd be fucking insane. But knowing him, he might. He's starting to get Kevin Holland level of activity. Let's see if he can keep it up, man. Let's see if he can keep it up. Dude's really damn good, and already on his 3rd fight this year. Psychopath. The bangouts for this fight have Milk Costa minus 220 to plus 180. I don't know if I'd have the odds that far apart. I'd probably have Costa minus 140, 145. I agree Costa is probably the pick here, but it's a lot closer than the odds say. Erosa's no pushover, and I don't look at Costa as a knockout artist. He might be able to get a knockout here, but again, like I just talked about, Erosa's only L's lately have been 1st round knockouts. Do you see Mel Costa finishing Erosa in round 1? I really struggle to see that to an extent. Maybe a submission, but I think it's unlikely. KO is super unlikely, because I don't think... he's a good striker, but I don't know if he has that kind of power. We'll see. On the ground, I think the grappling transitions between these two will be insane. This is just a great fight. This is a truly great fight I cannot wait for. And amazing matchmaking. These two want to stay active. They're staying active. This is a banger. I can't wait. Great main card opener. And who am I picking? Like I said, it's kind of hard not to feel like Milk Costa is a side here. Again, not thinking Rose is a pushover or anything. He's really damn good. But it's hard not to go Melquizael here, so... I think my pick is going to be Melquizael by... a knockout's unlikely, a submission's possible. I might fall back on decision, though. I think he's going to be able... round 1 might be scary, but I think cardio-wise, Milk might have a little bit better cardio. Who knows? That's a tough one. But that might be what it comes down to, so should be interesting. I can't wait. Hard fight to break down. It's gonna be a banger. But again, it's kind of hard not to lean Melquizael a bit here, so I can't wait though. It's gonna be great. But give me Mr. Active, give me featherweight Kevin Holland, Melquizael Costa by decision, in what should be a banger. Maybe I'll change the pick, because I could see it being a submission or a KO, but I'm going to go decision, safe route as of right now, and give me Melquizael. Not saying Erosa can't win, very good chance he does, but I'm going to go with Mr. Active, Melquizael Costa by decision, and a 10 out of 10 main card opener. After that, we go to our second fight of the main card, one much easier to predict, and I don't think I'm going to waste much time on it, because not really a lot to say, and I think it's very predictable. As in our second fight of the main card, going all the way up to the middleweight division, our heaviest weight class by a mile so far on this card, and our second heaviest weight class on this card in general, as we have in our second fight of the main card, up in the middleweight division, Nursulton Black Ruziboev versus Dustin Stoltzfus. Again, compared to the last fight, the last few fights, this is extremely fucking predictable. We know what the UFC wants here. I think we all know what's gonna happen here, so let's not waste a lot of time on it. Not two very good fighters in my opinion, but still very predictable. Let's talk about it, as we will begin with Nursulton Ruziboev. Nursulton in UFC is 3-1. His 3 wins have been Bruno Ferreira, Cedric Dumas, and Eric Mechanico, and his 1 loss was to Jao Quinn Buckley. Nursulton is staying at middleweight, it seems, after he began his first 2 UFC fights there, looked good, then went down to fight Buckley for no fucking reason, and then he came back up to fight Mechanico, who was a short-nosed replacement. And, yeah, now we, see how he does here against Stoltzfus. I'm not really high on Nursulton. I don't think he's that good. He's powerful, I'll give him that. He's a perfectly fine, powerful striker. But I don't know how decent he is late into a fight. I don't know how great his ground game really is. I think he's a very stat-padded can crusher to an extent. Like, I'm not saying he's bad. I don't think he's bad at all. But I think he's very, kind of fraudulent to an extent, would probably be the term. He's not bad, but I don't think he's really this great fighter. He's powerful, he's a fine striker, but again, deep into fights against someone who's taking him down or making him work off the cage or something, how does he do in a fight like that? We've not really seen yet. The only time was Ray Buckley, and he didn't fight like that, so... And Buckley just beat him pretty fucking easily, so... Take that as you will. Yeah, I just really don't think much of Nursulton. Again, I think he's kind of a can crusher, and I think that kind of holds true here, but what do I know, really? He's fun, and until he actually fights someone legit, I really don't give a fuck. Give us a fun knockout, and that's all I care about. To talk about his opponent, Dustin Stoltzfus. Dustin in the UFC is 3-5. His 3 wins have been coming out in Contender Series, where he got a contract for no reason, to be honest. His 3 wins have been Dwight Grant, Punahele Soriano, and Marc-Andre Barriault. His 5 losses have been Kyle Dawkins, Rodolfo Vieira, GM3, Abus Magomedov, and Bruno Ferreira. Speaking of can crushing, Dustin Stoltzfus has done plenty of that, beating Dwight Grant, garbage, Puna, who at middleweight was garbage, and Marc-Andre Barriault, who was garbage, and he even lost to bad fighters like Kyle Dawkins, Abus Magomedov, and Rodolfo Vieira. Ew. Yeah, I don't think Stoltzfus was good. He had his career highlight in his last fight against Marc-Andre Barriaud, getting a beautiful knockout, but that was very, A, fluky, B, Marc-Andre Barriaud's fucking garbage. So, let's factor that in. He is 32 years old. He's not a good striker. He has a weak chin as he's been KO'd a few times now. And, yeah, I don't think he's very good. He's a fine wrestler, but that's about it. I don't think he can strike for shit. He has a little bit of power, clearly, but not much. And, yeah, he's pretty bad. I really don't think much of him. I think he's pretty fucking terrible, but what do I know? Maybe we'll get the upset here. It's unlikely. And I think my point will stand that he is not good. And depending on the career for me there, having a Sultan Ruziboev minus 285 to plus 225. Yeah, it's kind of... yeah, I'd probably have an Sultan. Do I want to drop it or go up? I'd probably have an Sultan minus 300, to be honest. He should win this fight. He should be able to find that kill shot on Stoltzfus pretty easily. He's the much better striker. He's much taller, I believe. He has more power. Stoltzfus has no chin. He's not quick. He's not elusive. He's easy to hit. If Nursulton can stuff takedowns, if Dustin even has enough time to shoot him, if Nursulton can stuff him and keep it standing, he will find that kill shot within the first 2 rounds, I think, and that'll be that. Is there a world where Dustin Stoltzfus gets him down or holds him on the cage and wins? Yes. Is that world likely? Fuck no. So, give me Nursulton Ruziboev by knockout in the first. It should not really be that hard of a fight for him. Kind of a guy the same level of who he's been fighting lately, like Dumas and Mechanico. Should be another quick finish for him. I don't see it going much differently than that, so why predict anything differently than that? Give me an Sultan Ruziboev by knockout in the first, and what should be some more simple can crushing from him, but if he gives us one knockout, I don't give a fuck. Give us a cool knockout, and we'll talk about you against a real fighter later. The Sultan by knockout in the first. Simple can crushing, in my opinion. 2 guys who I don't think are that good, but it should be fun, so that's all that matters in the end. After that, we go to our featured bout of the main card, back to the featherweight division one last time on this current, or is this at lightweight? This is a lightweight fight. That's really weird. That's, interesting. I'm not really sure what to think about that. Okay, that changes things a tiny bit. In the lightweight division, apparently, it's not a short nose fight, so I guess both are just moving up. As in our featured bout of the main card in the lightweight division, apparently, we have a fight that I think it's the worst fight on the main card. I don't think it should be on the main card, but what do I know? Maybe it'll be fun. I hope, as we have in our featured bout of the main card in the lightweight division. Apparently, I don't know if typology is wrong or what, but I'll go with it. We have Super Sodiq Yusuff versus Mairon Santos. You ain't no legend, I ain't gonna call you a bitch. Interesting fight. I really do understand this matchmaking, as much as I don't agree with it. I do get it. It's 2-fight losing streak versus up-and-comer coming off an L. Should be interesting. So, let's talk about it. We'll begin with the formerly ranked and very hyped up Sodiq Yusuff. 31 years old, 6-3 in the UFC, not doing the best lately. Since coming off the Contender Series back in 2018, Sodiq has beat Suman Akai, Shaman Moraes, Gabriel Benitez, Andre Fili, Alex Caceres, and Don Shanas. His losses have been Arnold Allen, Edson Barboza, and Diego Lopez. Can you get a much better 3 L's at featherweight? Jesus fucking Christ. And then Alex Caceres and Andre Fili are very good wins. So, I Sodiq's a weird one. I never really fell for the hype with him. I thought he was always okay, but we never really saw him fight anyone top tier, and then now every time we've seen him fight someone top tier, he's lost. He's officially out of the top 15 at featherweight now, and apparently moving up to lightweight, which should be interesting for him. He does have that death touch. He's a really good strike. He does have really good power in his hands. His striking's alright. I don't know what's left of his chin after his last 2 fights. He never really had much of a ground game, so we'll see how, at least defensively, I can't remember seeing him stuff takedowns too often. Offensively, he has a little bit of a ground game, not much though. Yeah, again, he's just never really been able to perform against those top tier dudes, but even against middle of the pack guys like Caceres and Feely, he's been able to win. Maybe we'll see the Sodiq Yusuff of old here after a year plus layoff after UFC 300. This is a giant step down from Edson and Diego fucking Lopez. He's only 31 years old. Let's see what he can do, man. Let's see what Sodiq has left. Kind of do or die for him. Let's see if he does or dies. To talk about an opponent who will decide that question I just asked. Mairon Santos, 24 years old, 1-1 in the UFC. We have an Ultimate Fighter winner here when he won 2 on the show and then knocked out Khan awfully. Not really the most impressive win. He missed weight for that fight and he KO'd a tomato can. Not really much to be impressed with there. And then in his last fight, he lost to Francis Marshall. And he looked fucking terrible doing so. So, oh boy. Yeah, I've kind of predicted Mairon's a fraud for a minute now. I was not impressed with him on the show, on The Ultimate Fighter. He beat 2 pretty bad fighters. Then he beat Khan Awfully, who's a bad fighter. And then he lost to Francis Marshall, who I don't think's a good fighter. I've not been impressed with Mairon one bit. 14-2, 24 years old. I'm not really impressed with this dude. He is moving up to lightweight now, and he's fighting easily the biggest fight of his career, so we'll see how he does. Maybe he actually fucking doesn't look like ass for once in a fight, but we'll see. We'll really fucking see. Let's see what this guy can do after coming off his first L in the UFC. The Bangouts first fight have Mairon Santos minus 140 to plus 120. I don't agree. You either have to pick him or Sodiq to favorite. How could you pick Mairon after the fight he just had with Francis Marshall where he lost? Like, literally lost. Like, I don't really get it. He looked terrible against Francis fucking Marshall, and now you think he beat Sodiq Yusuff? Unless you think Sodiq's that much of a shell of himself, then sure, but if Sodiq is still even 50% Sodiq, he should win this fight. If Francis Marshall can beat you, what's the fuck Sodiq Yusuff gonna do? Because Sodiq's not a bad fighter, he's just never been able to perform against the top of the division. Now he's fighting not the top of the division. He should win. And now he's up at lightweight, not cutting a lot of weight. He should fucking win. So, I would probably have the betting on leaning more towards Sodiq Yusuff at like maybe a minus 125, 130. And I'm going Sodiq Yusuff. I think he's the best underdog on the card, because I don't even get why he's the underdog. I'm not gonna lean to a fraud who just lost to Francis Marshall over a formerly top 15 ranked main eventer 2 years ago, and a guy who was on UFC 300. He's not. Mairon Santos ain't beating that guy. If Yusuff is still half of what he was. So, give me Sodiq Yusuff by decision. I think he's better. I think he's better on the feet. He has more power. The ground game will be interesting. That's gonna really determine a lot. But if Sodiq is still even half a Sodiq, he should win this fight. So, give me Super Sodiq by decision. I think he's better. I think he's the best underdog on the card, and I don't see him losing to a joke fraud who just lost to Francis fucking Marshall. So, give me Super Sodiq by decision in what should be a wake-up call that Sodiq is still here, and lightweight might have a new interesting fighter on their hands. So, give me Super Sodiq to beat this fraud and get his first win in 2.5 years. Damn, how the mighty have fallen, but how the mighty, it only matters how the mighty rise up after falling. I think Sodiq's gonna rise up with a W over a fraud. That simple. After that, we go to our co-main event of the evening. Not gonna waste a lot of time here because you know what's gonna happen here. I know what's gonna happen here, and we don't give a shit. As we have our co-main event of the evening in the light heavyweight division, a fight that should be quick, should be fun, and someone might be getting cut after it. We have in our co-main event at 205, the heaviest weight class on the card, Paul Perju Craig versus Rodolfo Traitor Belado. Not gonna say much here. I think we all know what's gonna happen. Give me Rodolfo Belado by knockout in the first. Paul Craig is a complete shell of himself, but that would actually kind of make it sound like he was good at one point. He never was. 3-fight losing streak, first fight at light heavyweight in 2.5 years almost. Yeah, Belado's not been the most impressive in the UFC. The life and death of Ihor Potieria, draw with Jimmy Crute, almost got beat by Jimmy Crute, but he's 8 years younger and he ain't a complete can. He's not going to fall into Paul Craig's guard and let him beat him. Belado is going to batter Paul Craig and get a pretty easy win. What's Belado's submission history and all that for? Yeah, Paul Craig's getting put out in round 1 here. Give me Rodolfo Belado by knockout in first. If Bo Nickel can beat you in a striking match, Rodolfo Belado is going to put you in a fucking coffin. Rodolfo Belado by knockout in first. Not even much to say. It's Paul fucking Craig. He's going to just pull guard and eventually get knocked out. So, Rodolfo Belado by knockout in first. Simple. I'm not talking about a Paul Craig fight in 2025 anymore. I'm done with that. Next. And what is next, you may ask? Finally, the last fight of the night, the main event of the evening, the best fight on the card, a great Apex main event. It moved from the pay-per-view last week to the card this week. We have a banger in the welterweight division, an amazing main event. I cannot wait for this fight, as we have in our main event of UFC Vegas 106, our last fight before a break week, Gilbert Durinho Burns versus Michael Spider-Man Morales. What a main event. Amazing fight. Again, this was moved from UFC 315 a week ago to this card because they didn't have a main event, so cool. Could they have picked a different fight for that? Yeah, but like what? What the fuck was the fight between? They could have moved Grosso and Natalia Silva to this card, but I get why they picked this instead, so I'm not upset about it. Dope ass main event. Or a dope-ass main event in the Apex top-tier main event, and I cannot fucking wait for this fight. This can be a banger. Even if it's beyond predictable, it's still a banger. I can't wait. Let's get into it. Not a whole lot to say, to be honest. We'll start with the veteran of the fight, Gilbert Burns. Not a lot to say. 15-8 now in the UFC at 38 years old. We all know Prime Gilbert Burns was pretty decent. Got a title shot, did good against Kamaru, before then beat Woodley, Maya, yada yada yada, moved up from lightweight, yada yada yada. Ever since that Usman fight, he's not done too hot. That Wonder Boy fight was very close, more close than you remember. That fight of that future Hall of Fame fight with Hamzat, beat Neil Magny. Okay, beat George Masvidal. Sure. Got what injury did he have in that fight? He hurt his fucking arm or whatever against Bilal, so that doesn't even count. was beating JDM, the best anyone has actually done against JDM, and then got knocked out. And then in his last fight, he got completely demolished by Sean Brady in one of the worst main events of 2024. So, good shit there. Yeah, Gilbert's past his prime by a mile. And it's probably time for him to retire. I won't be shocked if this is his last walk. He's 38 years old, going to be 39 in July. When he loses this, it'd be 4 in a row. The last time he actually had a good win was what? Gunnar Nelson. Fucking in 2019. His prime was good. Everyone loves Gilbert Burns. He's had some wars. He's gonna go into Hall of Fame for that Hamzat fight, but it's time. After he loses, unless he turns back the clock and looks good in this fight, win or lose, which is unlikely, it's probably time for him to dip. So it sucks to say that because Gilbert gave us some good ass memories, but what the fuck do you really want him to do? Age is going to get to him. Then when you're fighting JDM and Michael Morales in the span of fucking almost a year, a little over a year, what are you really meant to do? So Gilbert's done. He's just truly done. That Brady fight was the worst I've ever seen him look, and that was Sean fucking Brady. What the fuck is Michael Morales gonna do? I worry for Gilly a little bit. Because again, he is fighting Michael fucking Morales, who's amazing. 5-0 in the UFC, 1-0 in Contender Series, 25 years old, 17-0. His 5 wins in the UFC since the Contender Series have been Trevor Giles, Adam Fugit, Max Griffin, Jake Matthews, and Neil Magny. Yes, he's not beat the best competition, but he has beat veterans. Griffin, Matthews, Magny, those are good wins. The best he's ever looked against Neil Mags. He's going to destroy Gilbert Burns. It's truly that simple. He's going to fucking destroy him, just like Brady did, but it won't be boring and shitty. It will be impressive and entertaining. Yeah, like the dude's the biggest favorite on the card for a reason. He's going to win this fight. We all know it. He's going to put Burns into retirement more than likely. So it's truly that simple. Give me Michael Morales in this fight, no question, not the lock of the night. I know, again, he is the biggest favorite on the card, which I understand. I'm not upset at. I would have him like minus 800. He should win this fight. I don't know how he would lose. He's better on the feet. He's much younger, much faster, much more powerful. On the ground, he's much bigger and stronger at this point, and Gilbert's not going to be able to do shit to him. Unless Michael just has a really bad gas tank, and we don't know it yet, even though we've seen him go 3 rounds and look good. Unless he just has a really bad fucking gas tank, which is unlikely, he should easily beat Gilbert Burns like 50-45, 50-44, 49-46, something along those lines. So it is truly that simple. A few years ago, we'd be having a lot bigger of a conversation here. But in 2025, Gilbert Burns is gonna get beat up here badly. And I get why he's the underdog, the big underdog, and Michael Morales is going to get his first main event W here with flying fucking colors. So give me Michael Morales by decision. A finish is very possible, but even in his older age, it's not easy to finish Gilbert Burns. The only few who have in the last couple years have been like JDM and Usman. Outside that, the only other people to actually finish him were, if we get rid of his shitty grappling matches, the only other people to finish him were Dan Hooker in the UFC. So Hooker, JDM, and Usman. Do I think Morales is the level of finisher of 2 of those guys? No. Do I think he has the jab of Usman? No. But I think he is going to show he has it's a good gas tank, some good fight IQ, yada yada yada, prove he's legit, beat up a legend, and send him into retirement, winning his first main event, and tell him welterweight he's here, he's ready, and add another name to the list of many, many good fighters in that division that the rest of the division is probably scared shitless of. So Good luck, welterweight. You got another problem on your hands. From Ecuador. The first good Ecuadorian. No, I don't give a shit about Cheeto. He sucks. So, I'm excited. Great main event. Even if it's beyond predictable. Give me Michael Morales by decision. Finish as possible, but again, I don't look at Morales as a type of finisher of the guys who actually have finished Burns, so I'm gonna go decision 49-46, 50-45, 50-44, something along those lines. Michael Morales, and still undefeated, to put Burns probably into retirement. Sucks, but that's how you gotta do it, and that's how we end the night. As always, with a boom. That was the card. To go over my picks one more time. Tecia Pennington by decision. Hong Sung Park by decision. Denise Gomes by decision. Tainara Lisboa by decision. Yadier DelValle, my lock is a night, by knockout in the first. Thiago Moisés by decision. Matheus Camilo by decision. Melquizael Costa by decision. Nursulton Ruziboev by knockout in the first. Sodiq Yusuff by decision. Rodolfo by knockout in the first. And Michael Morales by decision. Bang. Like I've been saying a lot lately, I know a lot of decisions, but how many of these fights that I call a decision do you really see a finish in? Nope. Unlikely. Maybe. Unlikely. Unlikely. Maybe. I doubt it, though. Very high chance. Maybe. So 4. And the only one I actually really see a finish possibly happening in is Erosa. The other 3, 50-50. So, like, let's be honest, these are going to be decisions to start tonight. More than likely, unless some freaky bullshit happens. That's probably going to be the outcome. So, I hate picking so many decisions, but that's the UFC in 2025. We don't have finishers, we don't have stars, we don't have shit. We give what we eat the bullshit they feed us, and say fuck it, whatever. It's the only real promotion, so whatever, man. You'll hear what I thought of this card on Sunday, of course, sometime on Sunday with a recap of this, and then you won't hear from me again for a minute. We'll talk about that on Sunday because there is a break week, so that's that. Just gotta put your bowl out, ask for whatever the fuck Dana's serving you this week, and smile, I guess. So, whatever. UFC Vegas 106 should be alright. Some good. The main card's good. The prelims are alright. Should be a decent card. I'm semi-excited, but still not super excited. We'll see what happens. I'm very intrigued. A lot of moving parts can happen. And again, we'll go over all those moving parts on Sunday. So, yeah, not really a whole lot left to say. Unless I'm getting to say something I don't believe I am. I talked about the recap, talked about the card, talked about Dana just throwing shit at us. You know, he did make some good announcements this week. I'll give him that. I feel like a lot of people don't even know this card's happening because they're just focusing on the announcements. But that's the UFC's fault, not anyone else's. So, whatever. We watch whatever shit they put on, and sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad. The last 3 weeks have been good. Maybe it's the momentum will carry over to this. I have my doubts, but we gotta be hopeful, don't we? So, enough rambling. My voice is shot. I'm tired of talking about an Apex card for right now, and I don't want to talk about it again until Sunday. I just want to watch it. I don't even want to do that, but whatever. It's close to being a job at this point. Not a fun one, so whatever. See you all on Sunday for the recap. Unless I'm forgetting something to say, which I don't believe I am. Please like, comment, subscribe, 100 subs the goal by the end of the year, as always. And unless I'm forgetting to say something, which I don't believe I am, again, I don't know why I have to keep saying that. It's just fucking instinct at this point. As always, what's left of my voice at this point after an hour and a half? RX out. Good vibes only. And